Okay, today we are going to look at how to create a Banner Bear alternative. Banner Bear is a fantastic product that allows you to connect to their API and create images for WordPress featured images or LinkedIn. I recently got a new client and wanted to create a daily LinkedIn post based on automations we've made before. So I looked at Banner Bear to create an image every day. It costs about $50 a month, and so I thought actually there might be a better way to do it, or a cheaper way to do it for this instance. So today we're going to look at how you can create a simple automation that creates a featured image, downloads it, and allows you to use it for whatever you want using just Airtable and Google Slides, which is sort of a core of what we're going to do. I'm not going to tell you what the client's name is, but we are going to use a a fun website I've made before called ULEZ Classic. ULEZ Classic is a scraper that looks at ULEZ compliant cars. So in the UK, if the car is older than 40 years old, it becomes ULEZ compliant. Anything else between that and sort of newer cars doesn't. So I made this website that's a scraper that finds ULEZ compliant cars. But what might make this even nicer is a little custom banner. We also posted on LinkedIn, so this custom banner would work quite nicely. So let's talk it through. So what you're going to need is Airtable, so your record plus a image URL. So in this case, these are the images that we pull down. You're also going to need some text that you want on your banner image. Then you're going to need Google Slides. So let's start with Google Slides. What you're going to need to do is create a new presentation. And then we're going to map a couple of things in here. So with the automation, you need to add some text box. So we're going to add a text box over here, and we're going to call that description. Or you can, map it to whatever the title is over here. So let's say title, just to keep it simple. So we're going to do title here. And then over on this side, we're going to add sort of a holding image. The issue with the images that I pull down, they're all different sizes. You also don't have to do an image you don't have to update the image for every one. So what you might want to do, and actually I'm going to go to the template that I created before, you might just have a holding image here that you really like. So that's what it is. And then over here, you've got your title. Obviously, could spend a lot more time designing this, maybe go into Figma, get some options for designs. But what we're going to do today is show you two options. So one is this image updates every time. And for what I'm doing, that's really useful because I want to have the title, the name of the car over here, or the title, whatever it is. I'm going to make it actually not that big because some of these titles are quite long. So let's do 20. So we've got the title of the car over here, and then we've got the image. So this provides the foundation of what the header image will look like. This works for LinkedIn, could work for Instagram, could work for whatever you want to use. And if you wanted to change it, you could change the dimensions of the slide and the background. But for this, just showing you how it works, so let's keep it like that. So we got this image, we got the title, and not importantly, but importantly, you need to skip this slide. So that pulls into this slide into Make. So if we go back to Make, I've got this here just to remind me how to do it. But we're going to start by looking in Airtable, and we're going to search records. Just going to connect that automatically just to show you. So it's in the right base right now. This is the ULEZ Classic. I'm in the posted collection. So I'm going to go ULEZ Classic, and then I'm going to do posted collection, just because that's where I have it. I've created this little grid view test. So to create a grid view, you'd come down here, create it, and then you can change filters and things. But that allows you, when you're in Airtable, to pull in a specific amount of data. So we're going to use the test view, which just has these three, which I'm working with. So we're going to go into here. We're going to go test. And then I'm just going to select all because it's all information. I'm going to limit it to 3, even though it doesn't matter. There's only 3 pieces of information in there. So we're going to hit save. So the next module is Google Slides. Create a slide from template. So we're going to go Google Slide, create a slide. So create a slide. So this is where the next step in here, what you need to do is go File, New from Template Gallery. And then what you're going to need to do is submit a template. And the template is this thing you've just created here. So here, UList Classic Template 2, open. And because it's already in there, I can't do it again. But then once you select it, you'll click a category, click submit, and it will show up here. So that means then when you come in to create a slide from a template, what you do from drop down, My Drive, make sure you're in the right Google. You click here to create file, or click the presentation ID. So you click the one that you just had, so UList Classic Template 2, and then it should have template slide number 1. Remember, if that doesn't show up, it's probably because you haven't hidden this. The other thing to note about this is I'm going to be overwriting this slide over and over again because I know I'm getting the final image. There are ways to create a new presentation every time you do it, or create a new slide every time you do it. So we've got the values. So this is where you can pull the values, which is the title, what I've put in here. If I was to copy title, paste it here, title 2, for example, and I refresh this, both of those mappings should show up in here. Yeah, so title and title 2. So that's how you're mapping. The image is going to be done in a second phase by uploading an image. I tried to do it by using an image tag, but it kept crashing the Google Slides every time I did it. So I've just decided to do it with a different step. So I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to refresh that. And if you remember, the title I want is the name of the car. So I'm going to put title in here. I'm going to do title. And, remember, if any of these things don't show up, normally I just save it, run it once, and stop it immediately, and it remaps. So hit title. So that's great. So that's now going to get the title updated on here. The next one is you're going to upload an image. So if we do upload an image to a presentation, I am going to, let's have a look. What did I do? Mapped, I think it, by drop down. So come in here, do by drop down, Google Drive, presentation ID. So that's basically you are creating a slide from this template. Actually, this slide might be redundant for this because it's not. No, it's not, because it's actually mapping this text. So that's why it's not redundant. So come in here, choose the file, use Classic Template 2, upload an image by replacing image. Again, you can try text tag, couldn't get it to work. So add values, image object ID. It's image number 1 in page 1. And because that's the only image there, I know it's this one. Center inside, fine. And then image URL is going to be mapped from image URL. Great. Hit save. And then the final step to this, because if I run just this section here, that will create this. But what I want to do is get this as an image so then I can use it in social media posts. So the easiest way that I found to do that is get a page /thumbnail. And what this does is it basically exports a URL that you could then bring back into Airtable or not, or just put it straight into LinkedIn or whatever it is. So let me just select from the list, drive. Yep. So I'm going to say select from the list, My Drive, here, choose the file, UList Classic Template 2. So again, it's taking this, page object ID, slide number 1, show page thumbnail. I'm going to hit yes. So if I hit save on this, and again, these are just duplicates because I needed to remind myself, so I'm going to unlink that. This is a nice little tip. You can move that up here. That becomes the start. So theoretically, when I run this, it'll go through, and it should, if we look at this, it should be uploading this image. There you go. So it uploaded that image. So what is it doing? Okay, so that is incorrect currently. Let's pause quickly and see where we're getting the gap between the posting and the image. Okay. After a quick pause, basically what I figured out is these two slides need to be swapped. So the image needs to be created first, or image needs to be updated, then the slide is duplicated, then it creates a slide, adds the text. So if we run this again, let's have a look, save on this, run it through. So as we're watching, you should be able to see it, uploads it to a Land Rover Defender, creates a new slide, puts in the title. Uploads as a Porsche, adds a new slide. There you go, as a Rover. So now you have these three. And if you come in here, you can have a look at the output bundle. So if we highlight this, this is the image that has been exported. And of course that didn't work. Let's have a look. It's obviously taking the wrong slide number 1. I guess this is why you should probably run it individually. So instead of running 3 at a time, so let's just try this. So if we hit save, as you can see, the order sort of changes every time it comes through. So it should take the Porsche to start, and then it'll probably take the Porsche again because it's been put in position 2. And there actually might be a way around this, but if we look at this, I think it will be 3 of the Porsche based on what we've done. Yeah, so 3 of the Porsche. But what we could do, I think, so create a slide. What did I see? Slide. So what I'm going to say, if left empty, the new slide will create last position. So let's say number 2. Let's try this. Let's delete all of those. Let's make that image bigger again so it's mapped. We come back here, going to hit save and run that once. So theoretically, every time it creates, it should come in at position 2. So there. Still going? Nope. ID. Let's have a little look in here. Slide number 2. Let's try. Maybe it's because it's because every time it's recreated. Okay, maybe slide number 2. Gonna map that. Try that again. Let me delete that. Run this once. And again, I'm making this more difficult for myself because we're trying to run it more than once. But what we're gonna do, let's just replace. Actually, let's do that. We're going to leave that one there. So theoretically, every time it gets created, it comes in again. Let's have a little look again. Yeah, so let's create a Land Rover. Great. Let's see what happens next time. Yeah, it creates the Porsche. Great. And then next time, creates the tiny little Rover. So they got smaller each time. It's probably because the width is defined. So let's have a look. See if this has done anything different, because it should be taking the second slide every time. So that's Land Rover for the first one. Download output bundles. Let's have a look at the second one. Land Rover again. So it's still taking the same page. So I'm going to make this easier for myself. I am just going to reduce that down to 1, save, and then just going to run that single every time. So by doing that, what will happen is every time it runs through, I think you would just keep 2 of those. It will just replace that slide, make it much simpler. I appreciate this hasn't gone exactly to plan, but there's definitely ways to improve this. And again, I was iterating on the fly, but that's a fairly straightforward way, 4-module way to replace Banner Bear, so at a fraction of the price. And I know Banner Bear does 1,000 API calls for that price. So there you go. Give it a shot. Let me know how it works. Nice. Thanks.